what then does freedom from sin look like, or what does it mean to live free from sin when we still sin throughout the rest of our life?
I'm not going to hell because of my sin. I deserve to go to hell. I'm a dirty, rotten sinner. Let's be real honest. But I have been freed from that by Christ because of what he did on the cross for me. Secondly, I am free from having to sin. I'm not a slave of my instincts. I'm not a slave of my desires. I'm no longer a slave of my habits. But that's going to be a lifelong process of beating sin in my life. And if you don't like hearing that from me, then just read Romans chapter 7, where Paul writes, the good I want to do, I don't do. The evil I don't want to do, I do. Wretched man that I am, who's going to deliver me from this body of death? Thanks be to God, who gives us the victory through our Lord Jesus Christ. Now, Jesus said, if anyone would come after me, let him deny himself, pick up his cross, and follow me. For whoever wants to save their life will lose it. But whoever loses their life for my sake and for the gospel, they will save it. What's he talking about? He's not talking about dying to your value and worth as a human being. He's talking about dying to your self-centeredness. I mean, think about Adam and Eve in Genesis 3 in the Garden of Eden. Satan comes to them and says, worship me. No, he doesn't. Satan does not say, worship me, the devil. No. He says, hey, what has God said? And you know, God really wants to rip you off. So if you really want the gusto and the zest in life and the excitement in life, then you cut your ties to God and you go on your own. That was the temptation. In other words, the temptation was self-deification, which is just a fancy way of saying, I am God, which is just a fancy way of saying, I will define the purpose of my life, I will define right and wrong, and if I say having sex outside of marriage is good, then it's good, and if I say being greedy and hoarding all my money for myself is good, then it's good, and I don't have to be generous, I don't have to feed the hungry, I don't have to clothe the naked. They've blown their lives, okay? I'm going to keep it all for myself. And Christ says, no, that's what you got to learn to die to, and you got to come alive in me. Oh, I really don't want to study. I'm sorry. If you're a follower of Christ and you're a student at the University of Georgia, you better study your little head off. Why? Because God gave you an incredibly powerful muscle. It's called your brain. And you better develop that brain so that you can serve God by serving people to the max. That's really living. Remember, when you go to your first job interview, the question is not, hey man, how much are you going to pay me? That's not the first issue. The preeminent issue is, does this job give me the opportunity to use the passions and gifts God has blessed me with that I can best use to serve God by serving people? How did God feed you this morning? Did he drop breakfast from heaven onto your plate?